point I had sat in the car and talked direct to camera about why I was here, what that journey was I had just done. And of course my phone decided to corrupt that section, so you've lost all of that. So I'm doing it in post. This is the Pennines, the national park. It lies between Manchester and Sheffield. And today I want to do a walk along the Longdendale Trail, which used to be the railway line that ran between Hadfield near Manchester, and it would come up through the Pennines here, into a tunnel here at Woodhead, go underneath the Pennines, and then would come out at Sheffield. Now, in the 1960s, Mr. Beeching closed a lot of the regional lines to save money, and so a lot of these railway lines don't exist anymore. Instead, what you now have are ramblers' walks along where the old railway lines used to be. But Woodhead is really interesting because the tunnel is still here. They've talked in the past about restarting up the railway line to get passengers directly across the Pennines to Manchester, but it's never happened, and so now the railway lines are here for Northwest Electric. They run their cables through it, and I think a lot of other utilities probably run their cables through it as well. And so now the tunnels are still there. You can look at them, but you can't go into them. So that's what we're going to have a look at first off. So this is what would have been Woodhead Station. You can see that the platform is still here. This is where the railway line would have come to the tunnel. This is the old tunnel. That was a later tunnel they put in when the trains got bigger. And now it's all closed. But it's an interesting feature to look at. I don't know if you can see that, but the house martins have made their nests. Right up there where you see those wires. There we go. That's fabulous. So yeah, these are the old tunnels for the original steam trains. There's the A628 running up the top there, over the top. This is where the railway lines would have been. And then if we walk down here, this is the platform where the train would have come in and everyone would have got off. I don't suppose there are too many passengers getting off here. There's very little here. But it's such a feature of the landscape, as you can see. And then further down here is the platform for the other side. I presume they're going back towards Manchester direction. And of course it doesn't matter how far you come out into the countryside. There's always someone ruining it for somebody else. What's the matter with people? Why couldn't you have taken that McDonald's cup home with you? Thanks, McDonald's, for the huge amounts of rubbish that we now have. So, the train would have kept running that way. That's looking back. And we're going to keep walking. They call this the Longdendale Trail. And it's a well-known rambler's walk that I've done many times. I haven't been here for a while though. I think I came here last year, but I can't quite remember. Might have been the year before. I went through a phase of coming out here quite a lot and walking, but I get lazy. So we're now following alongside where the train would have been, which is through the trees there. And we're just going to follow this all the way, and then eventually we'll end up walking on what remains of the railway line, which pretty much looks like this but a bit wider. But you do see remnants of stations and other railway structures along the way. By structures I mean bits of walls and things. There's not a lot left. They run the electricity right across the Pennines now. I love these pylons. There's something about them. Maybe it's nostalgic because you don't see them like that anymore. And of course they're trying not to have power line cables everywhere, and of course they ruin the look of the countryside. But my dad was an electrical engineer for his entire career, and so for me there's something slightly nostalgic about pylons. The wildlife here is amazing. Lots of birds, all sorts of varieties. I've seen hen harriers up here. Lots of meadow pipits. Blackcaps, wrens, the works, all the usual stuff that you'd expect. And this is a national park, so it's protected. I'm probably just going to film like this for most of the journey. But I will probably cut it as well. I'm not sure how much of this you want to see. Maybe this is what you want to see. Maybe it's just like you being on this walk that you probably can't get to because you're too far away, or maybe you can't walk, maybe you have mobility issues, or maybe you just prefer to watch other people walking. So I'm just going to walk. And I'll have a look at the end at the edit and see how long this is. Beautiful pine trees. up here on the Pennines tends to have its own weather system. So when I left home this morning, it's already like 18 degrees and really warm, and I had all the windows open first thing. Now I'm here, I put my tracky top back on because it's not as warm. So you always need to plan for the difference in the weather. It's so nice being somewhere this green. It just makes you feel glad to be alive. Because if this wasn't around me, if I lived in a tower block and I had no access to countryside like this, I think I'd probably go insane. I come out here for nature, to get away from people. Because I am a self-confessed massive introvert, and I don't care who knows it. Railway line through there, at least one of them, I think. I mean, this would have been a two-way line, so I think this is probably one line, and that was the other line there. See the landscape starting to change. We will end up out in the hills, so there will be less trees. Look at all those pine cones forming. Tell me these aren't beautiful trees. God, I love trees. Can we have more trees, please? Baby trees. There's the Pennines. Beautiful Wuthering Heights landscape. I love driving across here. If you drive the whole route, you can get almost to, well, if you kept going, you would end up in Sheffield. It's a stunning drive, and it's just a shame you can't look at it because you're watching where you're driving. Pylon. With the A628 in the background, as you can see there. This is a really busy road. It's the only road over the Pennines this way, and as you go back towards Manchester, you end up going through Hollingworth and Mottram, and it's absolutely gridlocked. I don't know whether you could see from some of the footage of my outward trip, but the traffic is chocker. I'm going to duck and dive on the way back and take an S-Di route back, because I will be stuck in that traffic for hours otherwise. But the other reason I've done this journey today is because I need to go to the big old Tesco's, which is out this way, because I have another gift card and I really want to get that big tub of baking spread that I mentioned in a previous vlog. An escapee balloon. We'll pick that up on the way back, put that in the rubbish. You don't see too much rubbish out here, but it happens. I stopped filming when I went past that cyclist. I don't feel comfortable walking around with other people seeing me talking to my phone on a stick. It feels quite gross. It's just unnecessary, isn't it? I'm not an influencer. I don't want to be. Amazing trees. The hawthorn flowers are out, smell amazing, and I was reading yesterday that you can make a really nice tea infusion with hawthorn flowers. So I'm going to try that before the flowers go, because I think they're probably going to be on their way out soon. Comes another cyclist. This is a very popular cycling route here. We'll let him go. The bird calls are changing. You can hear a chiff chaff. If you hear a call that goes chiff chaff, chiff chaff, chiff chaff, that's chiff chaff. There's a lot of black caps. Oh, it's such a beautiful song. I wish the ground wasn't so crunchy because it's ruining the ambience. Chiff chaff, chiff chaff, chiff chaff. We're willow warblers here. This is all station remnants. I think there would have been one line there, one line here, and you cross in the middle, I suppose. We'll carry on down here. Pretty sure I just heard a cuckoo. Now that would be exciting. Yeah, that's a cuckoo. These fabulous old trees. Still alive. That's something out of a Tim Burton movie. So if this was a railway line, you can find pictures of it online. So I will try and add a few to this so you can get a feel for how it used to look. But I think I prefer it how it is now. I wish I lived out here in one of the little cottages out on the hillside. This is the sign of a healthy forest. It means the air quality is good. Amazing. I love all these textures. See, these trees look dead. But just a little way out, they're all green. And now the gravel's gone, so the walk gets quieter. You hear it? Fabulous. Cuckoo. Unfortunately, the sound of the traffic is a constant here. It's a constant background noise to nature, which is a shame, but it could be a lot worse. It's hard to truly get away from human noise out in the countryside. Trying to see what bird is making what noise is quite tricky here, because they've got you. They know where you are, and they're so beautifully camouflaged. Yeah, look, 2 railway lines with a gap in the middle. The little peeping sound you can hear is a robin, who's just up there. He's keeping an eye on me. I feel like I'm being shadowed. You'd never get bored of this view, would you? Now the sun's coming out. There, look. A little river. There's an old pathway there, look, there's an old wall. This is flowing down to the Torside Reservoir, which these days isn't very full, which I will demonstrate to you shortly. We often get threatened with hosepipe bans where I live, which is only half an hour from here, and we are supplied by reservoirs like Torside, but despite that insane heat that we had last year, it's 42 degrees in Manchester, which is just... The only time I've ever experienced heat like that was in Malta, back in, I think it was around about 2006. Never experienced anything like it. Now this kind of feels like a station. But there's nowhere out here. But I shall show you why I think it might be a station. First, however, let's have a little peek over here. They've been doing some managed planting here. I wish they'd stop using these plastic cones around the trees. I'm sure they were inventing a better way to do it. Look, another pylon. And the cuckoo. Cuckoo is somewhere over there. A truly glorious day. So this is why I wonder if this was a station at some point. These curious links. I don't know whether passengers could get off here and go over to the other side and go back the other way, or whether it's just a bit of the railway structure, or maybe it's nothing to do with the railway at all. I don't know. There it is. The reservoir. Actually, it's looking quite full. It got very warm very quickly, so I've removed layers and I've got the binoculars out because I don't know if you can hear that. There are lapwings just down on the edge there. The viewpoints here are just fantastic. Look at this. But look at that traffic. Can you imagine how this place would sound if there was no traffic here? Just a little dot on the water down there, and that's a mallard duck. You don't see a lot of bird life on the water. It's quite a man-made waterway, so it's not ideal for them. But the gulls, we get black-headed gulls up here, a few ducks, oyster catchers, clearly the odd lapwing. And if you're lucky, you'll hear curlews, although not so much at this end. If we go further into the Pennines and up towards Home Firth and stop up there, less traffic, and you'll hear meadow pipits and curlews. And I've seen curlews up here as well, which is just glorious. You think of them as seabirds, but there used to be lots of curlews on the farmland. I've still been reading James Rebank's pastoral inheritance book, and he talks about how the curlews disappeared once they started to more intensively farm the land, and instead of mowing hay in autumn for the feeding of cattle during the winter, they would mow several times a year and make silage instead. And the curlews couldn't breed because their nests and their eggs and their babies would be chomped up in the mowing machines. It's a sad reality of modern agriculture, is that the farming system used to be maybe not perhaps at one with nature, but was certainly working with it. And now it just works against it. And we've drained the life from the soil and taken down all the hedgerows, nature's motorways. And it's restorable, but we've got to want to do it. And at the moment we have farmers intensively farming land and struggling to make a living at all. So once our farmers have all gone out of business, I wonder what will happen to that land. Because I can't see greedy corporations letting nature take it back. They'll probably build Amazon warehouses on it. Chiff chaff, chiff chaff, chiff chaff. There's some gull activity up on that point there. So we'll aim up there. There might be a breeding colony there. Got binoculars with me, let's have a look. There's a lot of seagulls up there. They may well be breeding up there. Can hear goldfinches off to the right. They've topped these trees, which is really annoying. I'd rather have the trees than the view. If you can see that on the camera. Little chiff chaff sitting right at the top of that pine tree. Amazing. Somebody's house up there, look. Can you imagine living out here? What a privilege. Look at that for a backdrop to your house. Whether get cut off here in the winter though. But they've got a generator and a well-stocked cupboard of emergency supplies. Sure they're used to whatever the weather throws at them. Can hear oyster catchers. Not sure where they are though. Bench. Give my right arm to live somewhere like that. Railway bridge. Seem to have another side to it, although if you can see through there, there are railings. There's remnants of the previous life this area had as a railway. You can imagine the steam trains bowling through here. And I know it's pollution and what have you, but there's something wonderfully nostalgic about a steam train. Love a steam train. Beautiful things, works of art, engineering magnificence. That was a bit of rubbish there, but I think it's a pigeon. What are you doing, pigeon? Are you having a sunbathe or are you ill? What's up, little one? You don't want to be here. Come on. Let's get you some water. I tried to offer it some water, but it doesn't like me. I don't know if it's a sickly pigeon or a tired pigeon. It is a homing pigeon. It's got a ring. I need to shush it off the path though, because I don't want someone's dog getting it. Or come on, off the path. It doesn't look sick because it won't let me near it. Go on, off the path. Off the path. I'm trying to protect you, mate. Come on, go that way. Go that way. Doesn't want to know. I think it's just having a rest. Maybe it's done one of those really long routes. And it's having a break before it does the final leg of its journey. Anyway, we'll leave the pigeon be. Oh, I can smell hawthorn. There's the hawthorn. Hawthorn flowers. Smell amazing. I'm so thankful that I don't get hay fever, because otherwise nature would be hard work. I think this next stretch will probably be as far as I go, because I've still got to get all the way back. I wasn't planning to be out here for the day. It was 9:15 AM when I arrived. That's a black cap. I forget what an amazing song blackcaps have. I spotted one the other day and I could hear this bird singing in a bush, and then I got a glimpse of it and realised it's a blackcap. Yeah, this next stretch coming up is as far as I'm going to go. Because it's a fair old walk. Because you still got to get back as well, don't forget. You can hear the gulls now. We're quite close to that. We're right next to the outcrop actually. You can get a bit of viewpoint. I'm going to get the binoculars out and have a look, but I suspect this might be a breeding colony. Yeah, that colony is definitely a breeding colony, and in fact it stretches all the way along there. There's also quite a few tufted ducks, a couple of oyster catchers, so lots of life here. Which is good to see. These are black-headed gulls, by the way. Taking advantage of the safety net that people can't get down here. They're a noisy lot, aren't they? Oops. Problems with my zoom. So this would have been the railway line. And over in the distance, and around the bend to the left, was Crowden Station. The remnants of the station are still there, and the remnants of, I think it's the railway master's cottage is still there. I think somebody lives in it. It's like a regular cottage now. And I know there are pictures online of what that used to look like. There's a little bench up there which I think I'm going to have a little rest at. And then I shall work my way back. Oops. So many of these benches are memorials to people. Probably hikers. And there we are. Well, here I am back at the car. It's warm in here. That whole journey, end to end, about 2.5 hours. And how many steps did we do? 7,500 steps. That's pretty good. I'm now going to work out my route to Tesco's so I can pick up this baking margarine. It was nice not having the phone on the return walk. I spotted a lot more things than had I been just talking at the phone. I saw a reed bunting and a meadow pipit. I heard the curlews. And I did finally glimpse the black cap. In fact, I can hear a curlew now. So yeah, it's been a good trip. As I was sitting on that bench that I ended up on before I came back, I saw a pigeon fly overhead. And I'm hoping that it was the racing pigeon that I saw earlier. It looked like him or her. And as I walked back, I didn't see the pigeon. So hopefully it had its break and went on its merry way. Right, so now I've got to try and negotiate my way to Tesco's. Hopefully